So Motorola has been on a rampage launching phone after another in 2024. We've covered several on our channel. This time around we've got the Motorola Edge 50 Neo, which sits very close to the Edge 50 Fusion price-wise. At Rs 23,999, it also competes against popular phones like the OnePlus Nord CE4 and the Nothing Phone 2A. So is it worth its asking price? Let's dive deep and find out. Let's get the specs out of the way. You can see them on your screen and pause if you need to. The specs look fantastic for the price, except the battery capacity that seems a bit lacking even for a 6.4-inch display. But let's put specs aside and actually look at how the Motorola Edge 50 Neo performs in real world. I'll also compare the performance to the OnePlus Nord CE4 and Nothing Phone 2A. But if you want a full-fledged comparison between these phones, comment comparison down below. The Motorola Edge 50 Neo sees a major design change compared to the other phones in Motorola's 2024 portfolio. Motorola has gone for a flat display instead of a curved one, and truth be told, I'm so used to the sleekness of Motorola's slim curved phones that this phone with its flat, boxy design and sharp corners felt somewhat off to me. However, some do like this approach as it means lesser false touches when gaming. But my personal preferences aside, the Edge 50 Neo is well built for its price. The soft vegan leather on the back panel feels nice to the touch, and it helps with the grip as well. The IP68 rating is great for peace of mind, and the Corning Gorilla Glass 3 protects against drops and scratches. The buttons, however, feel a bit mushy. But the in-display fingerprint sensor is nice and fast. As for the speakers, you get a dual stereo setup with Dolby Atmos support, and the speakers sounded decent to me. Take a listen. The 6.4-inch display on the Motorola Edge 50 Neo looks stellar, partly because of its sharp 1.5K resolution and color reproduction, and partly because of its slim bezels. The phone is excellent for content consumption, delivering vibrant visuals with intricate details given its PPI of 471, which is unrivaled at this price. Moreover, this is an LTPO panel which can dynamically shift between 1 to 120 Hz based on the content on your screen, and the display goes all the way down to 1 Hz whenever static, which is good and necessary for battery on this phone. More on that later. The phone also supports HDR10+, but frustratingly it doesn't work in Netflix. You only get support on YouTube and Prime Video. All in all, the display is one of the Edge 50 Neo's strongest suits, easily beating out the displays of the Nord CE4 and the Nothing Phone 2A. Like most Motorola phones, the Edge 50 Neo isn't geared towards power users. Sporting the MediaTek Dimensity 7300 SoC, the phone lags behind the OnePlus Nord CE4 and Nothing Phone 2A in CPU and GPU benchmarks like Antutu, PCMark, Geekbench Single Core, 3D Mark Wildlife Extreme and GFX Bench. The only area where it did better than its competition was Geekbench Multicore. Now in day-to-day use, this delta in power isn't too obvious. The phone feels smooth when running basic apps. However, there are some areas where I felt the difference. First off, the camera app is very laggy, and the whole experience, including switching between lenses, is quite subpar. Moreover, gaming is only decent when done on low graphics. Bump it up to medium or high and you'll feel the frame rate slow down after about half an hour of gameplay. As for software, Motorola impresses as usual with Hello UI and its clean interface with no bloatware. You've got support for handy features like Smart Connect, Family Space, Moto Gestures and more, which make it exciting for any tinkerer to use. Not just that, Motorola has also taken user feedback and promised not 1, not 2, but 5 years of software and security updates for this phone. Hopefully these updates make it to the phone on time though. Let's see. Coming to AI, the Motorola Edge 50 Neo has a couple of features like Magic Canvas AI wallpaper generation and Magic Editor via Google Photos, all of which are pretty basic. We'd like to see Motorola take a deep dive into AI next year. The phone scored 68 out of 100 in our Digit AIQ test based on benchmarks like AI22, AI Benchmark and UL Procyon. Okay, so the Motorola Edge 50 Neo has fantastic cameras for the price. For a low price of Rs 23,999, you're getting a capable 50 megapixel primary camera with OIS, a 13 megapixel ultra-wide camera with autofocus that doubles as a good macro shooter, and a 10 megapixel telephoto camera with 3x optical zoom. Add to that a solid 32 megapixel selfie shooter capable of 4K video recording, and you've got yourself a camera system that punches way above its weight class. In daylight, the primary camera shoots detailed photos with saturated colors and good dynamic range. Low light photos are decent too, but they get better if you go to night mode. Portraits look good with accurate enough edge detection, but the skin tones are a bit too oversaturated for me. As for ultra-wide photos, they look good, but there is some chromatic aberrations in some photos. Macro photos look great for the price thanks to autofocus. And lastly, 3x optically zoomed photos from the telephoto camera look detailed too, all the way up to 10x. But post that, it gets a bit messy. The selfie camera also impressed us. Overall, this is a solid camera system for the price with decent video capabilities too. No major complaints here. Now, battery is not the Edge 50 Neo's strong suit given its relatively small capacity. Most days, the phone gave me 4 to 5 hours of screen on time with medium to heavy use. The phone lasted 13 hours and 23 minutes in our 4K video loop test, which is mediocre. Charging is decently fast though. With the 68-watt charger, the phone goes from 0 to 100 in just 39 minutes. And you've also got 15-watt wireless charging support, which is a great addition at this price. Now, after covering all the key areas of the Motorola Edge 50 Neo, the question remains, is this the phone to get at Rs 23,999? Well, if you prioritize a fantastic display, a well-rounded camera system, and decent everyday performance, it certainly makes a strong case. However, the underwhelming battery life and performance hiccups in certain areas, especially with gaming and the camera app, make you think twice, especially with rivals like the OnePlus Nord CE4 and Nothing Phone 2A breathing down its neck. Ultimately, it comes down to your priorities. Are you willing to trade off some raw performance and battery longevity for a stellar display and solid cameras? If yes, then the Edge 50 Neo might just be the hidden gem you're looking for. But if you're still undecided, comment comparison and we'll make a detailed comparison of this phone with the Nord CE4 and Nothing Phone 2A. Subscribe and like for more, and I'll see you next time.